There we go. I'm going to recording. So if you don't want to be seen, you can turn your video off, but that's all right. I'm not too sure how many people ever, these are not public. You have to be a member of Iowa Genealogical Society in order to see these. So it's not like you're out on the web and going to be part of AI chat and so forth and so on. So that's good.
Hey,
Okay.
Teresa, before you
Yeah.
start,
Yeah, Michael.
I got a letter today, I assume everybody did, about who to vote for these.
Okay.
Are you running for something or?
No.
Okay.
No. If
A
you've got,
campaign?
if there's a name on there, vote for them because by God, they have volunteered and you need to you need to pick them up.
Okay.
No, I have my days of being an officer are in the past. I'll volunteer, but I'm not going to meetings and doing stuff and everything else. I'm now on the strategic.
Uh-oh. Lost your audio.
Is it better now?
Yes.
Okay, evidently I unplugged this thing somehow, or I hit the red button. I have no idea what's going on. No, I am not an officer. Never going to be an officer again. That's it. I volunteer, but I'm not doing the other stuff. So that's okay. All right. One of the things I was going to tell you, for those of you that watch Iowa Public TV, which I know Robin in Australia is not, on October 30, they're going to start a series and it's Michael somebody touring Ireland. And that would really be fun. So I will send out an email with the times and dates when it shows up and so forth and so on, which would be nice. Because sometimes Janet's best made plans to go to Ireland just got canceled. I'm like, well, this is the best thing you go. Janet, tell us about your using Google Earth. I think that's so cool.
Oh, well, in preparation for our trip, I got on Google Earth and toured all around Armagh, the county, and I was particularly interested in the Dairy News area because of a church that had once been there where I thought, and a cemetery attached where I thought relatives might be buried. But when I got on Google Earth and I actually saw it, it's kind of a national or a county anyway, historical spot, and they have signs and so on. And when I looked at the dates, my relatives couldn't be in that cemetery, at least the ones I'm researching, because it was way before their time. And so then I traveled on around the county and went to the little village of Keady. And as I'm driving my mythical car on Google Earth down this road, all of a sudden I saw a church and I backed up and looked at the church. And that is the church that was built and is now the center of for the Catholic records for the county. And so I probably have relatives in that churchyard, or I think I might have. At least it would be a good place to research. So anyway, it was fun driving around and seeing all of these spots. I didn't get to go. I hope I'll get to go in the future. But if I don't get to go, I have seen it on Google Earth. So it was fun.
Did you just call up Google Earth? Is that what you do?
Yeah, it's an app.
Yeah, Google Earth, and then you put in a place and it takes you down and
It's so cool.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, there's a way to go down to street level. And when you go to street level, you can forward or back or turn to the side. And so it's like you're riding in a car. It's just as they're filming it for Google Earth.
It's a little it can be disorienting, especially when you get out into the rural areas because you keep going and you're not, am I going east? Am I going west? Which directions have I gone? But I mean, it's, it's cool. It really is. I mean, it's amazing.
I went down the little lanes in Armagh. The roads are very narrow and down they look like cow paths actually, but they were roads.
They're one way only.
Yeah.
Right.
Hopefully you don't meet anybody.
The trees right up next to the road and the stone walls and then you would see a house that probably was a little bit more modern, but all of them look old.
Mhm,
And then they would have livestock
mhm.
out in the pastures. And Armagh is known as the orchard county because they have so many orchards and apples that they
Yeah.
grow
Right.
there. So
Mhm.
so it was nice scenery.
You know
It was a
that,
nice,
all of a sudden I'm thinking I should do that because my family worked in the linen mills and they lived in the kind of houses that were supplied by their employer, the Bestbrook
Mhm.
linen mills. And I have actually driven by them and taken a picture, but I thought, I'm just thinking about this. I should be able to kind of drive that way, and I know where we're going. It's by the something or other mill pond and up and around the corner. And because I was very fortunate to make a trip there years ago, and a distant cousin took me out there and took me by him. So that's it. I never thought about using Google Earth again. So we'll do that. Yeah. So if we can't make it to Ireland, if we know where the family's from, we can at least see what's going on, see the village and
Mhm.
some things like that. So that's kind of cool.
I looked
Um,
at all the places we had planned to go
yeah.
and planned to stay. So
Mm.
I looked in advance at all of these hotels or inns, wherever
Yeah.
we were gonna stay. I already looked at
You
it.
found the Driscolls down in County Cork and that kind of stuff.
Right,
It's cool.
I did.
That is nice. That is very, very nice. You know, anticipation of a trip is half the fun, in all honesty. So that's it. And she was gonna do the trains and the plane and then the train and then the bus.
Bus,
The only thing you were missing was a water ride. So
right,
okay,
and a
that's good.
driver.
And a driver. She's got a driver that was
That
a
driver
personal
was
driver.
going to take us around Armagh on the
Okay.
trip that I took on Google Earth.
That's good. That's good. It's all right. And I'm thinking, if we've had a couple of our members that have done that, have gotten drivers, put one of them went with a couple of her daughters, and the guy just took them around wherever they wanted to go. Because on a tour bus, you don't get that opportunity,
Are
So
those
that,
drivers pretty expensive?
I don't know, Janet, what'd you figure out? Did you get a feeling
Yeah,
for it?
they are expensive. They charge half a day or a whole day, or they would like you to go for more than that.
Mhm.
Armagh is smaller and so not as bad, but there are drivers that you can engage, and a lot of the drivers say they drive all over Ireland, but if they do that, then if they drive more than a day, you have to pay for their lodging and meals and so on.
Mhm.
So that makes it pretty expensive by the
Very
time you
expensive. Yeah.
add it up. If you're just doing a day trip around Armagh like we were, then you don't have to pay for
Yeah.
lodging and so on. It's
So I mean,
a local driver.
you do a day trip around there and then use public transportation to get somewhere else and then another day trip
Right,
and that kind of stuff. So that's
right.
it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's not a bad idea. That's it. Okay. Yeah. And there we are. So I thought, I don't know, I'm always looking for something to do. And I thought, let's talk about Facebook. I don't know how many of you are on Facebook. I know Kathy Foggia is. I know Audrey is. I don't know if the rest of you are.
Mhm.
The fact that they have, and I see a hand go up there for Judy. Okay. Facebook can be a huge waste of time, but it also can be a great resource if you want to do it. So this is something that was done by a woman by the name of Catherine Wilson, and I can always find her because she spells it with 2 L's in Wilson. It's her list of genealogical websites that are through Facebook. They don't. She has not upgraded it lately. She turned it over to Cindy's list, but I can't find something similar on Cindy's list. So maybe I'm not looking in the right place, but hers is still available to you on her website. So I thought we'd go in here and we would go in and look at that. Okay. And we will share and slowly but surely Okay, I don't want that. Let's move you over. And there's Catherine Wilson. Okay. So do you see Catherine Wilson's picture there? I always spell her name wrong, but do you see? Are you seeing Catherine
Yes.
Wilson? Okay.
Yes.
So if you go up here, so I gave you the website, I think. It's called socialmediagenealogy.com. If you just Google Catherine Wilson genealogy, this will show up. So I'm a great user of Google because I can never remember websites as we go through there. But if you go through here and you click on resources and it says it's genealogy on Facebook list. So we go from there. And it will show up here eventually. Come on, boys and girls. Maybe, maybe not. Come on. What's going on here? I don't want the meeting chat. Why? No, that's not it. Why is it not showing up? Okay. Oh, I have to close and accept. I'm sorry. That was my problem. So here's so now it says genealogy on Facebook list. She gives a whole situation. She talks about what it is, but what you care about is this little thing here that says genealogy on Facebook list. You notice it's kind of in a different color. It's not blue, which we often think of links, but this is a link to it. So if I click on that, and you can download it. It's a huge one, but I don't bother to download it. I just kind of come looking for it as we go through here. So there we go. If you notice as we go through, it's 400 and something pages long. All right. She talks about it. First part is geographical locations in the US, and then it's geographical locations in the rest of the world. And then part 3 are reference links that are not geographically based. So here's our all United States ones as we go through that. And then if we come down here, we get down here and we have Ireland. Okay. It's page 254. Now, we can't click on page 254, but if you go up here on top where it shows that we're on page 5 of 436 pages, but let's put in page 254, okay, and hit enter. Now there's another way around this, but we'll do that. And so here comes Ireland, all right. Now it's got a lot of stuff, and so it's got 300 and something pages. So we get into County Cork, County Cavan. Let's do County Armagh. They take us to the North Armagh Family History Society group, their Facebook page. County Armagh Tyrone DNA Matchmaker group. And that's the only 2 we have from Armagh that we were talking about. Here's Cavan, it's Clare. Cork's got a bunch of them. Look at this. Whoa, if you got family from Cork. And you notice they're very specific. So we have the DNA Cork project, for more DNA project, Mallow area DNA fat match finder, North Cork. We have the Skibbereen Heritage Center, West Cork. I can't pronounce this, U-Haul, I think. Heritage, their archives, their Genealogy Society, the LGBT archive, which is interesting, and the Matchmaker GEDmatch group. Then we get Donegal, we get Dublin, we get Galway, we get Laois. That's pronounced Laois, Laois. You and I would not pronounce it Laois, but that's what it is. We have Kilkenny, we have Limerick, County Mayo, Meath, Monaghan, Offaly, Roscommon, Sligo, Tipperary. Tipperary's got a bunch. Waterford and Wexford. And then down here we get into the Earl Grey Orphans. We have Immigration Isle, Federation of Family Historical Societies, GEDmatch Ancestry Projects, all sorts of things as we go to Ireland. The ones that are just Ireland and genealogy and heritage, those DNA, those Facebook places, they tend to be a little generic. If you can drill down to your county, that would be helpful as you go through here. Military, what else? We've got genealogy pages, Irish in Newfoundland, Irish in Jewish Museum, Irish Lives Remembered. That's the e-magazine that we've talked about in the past. Mayflower Society, really? Okay. National Archives of Ireland, they have a Facebook page. A National Library of Ireland. Sometimes that's worth joining those groups because you see what's going on at the National Archives, you see what's going on at the National Library. New Zealanders, all sorts of things. And we come down to here. Why is Irish slavery never talked about? So got that. Scots Irish, Roots Ireland, so forth and so on. So I'm wondering if any of you joined a Facebook page for your Irish research.
Yes, I have.
What do you join? What did you join?
It's the county Cavan, and then the Irish just one. I didn't know there were so many, but the Irish genealogy, just the
Yeah.
big group.
Okay.
But the
So
county Cavan one is
Kevin,
nice because it has pictures, lots and lots of pictures they
okay.
post.
So actually there's two of them. Did you know that? There's one called Cavan Genealogical Center. Okay, that's the research center. And then we have down here the probably Cavan Genealogy. So out of
Yeah,
curiosity.
I have to look up to see which one I'm
Well,
on.
we'll look and see it. This content is not available. Okay. Change, you can see it. So I can't go to see that, evidently. But some of these are private. You have to actually, oh dear. So the other way to get through to this is if you on a PC, I know you can do this on Mac, but I don't know. But on a PC, if you hit the control button and an F, you get a little thing up here, and I can just do Cavan. I type in Cavan and say go, and they tell me there's one of 16. So here they all are. So if we come back here, might be your one that you're a member of. Oh no, I can't get
Yeah,
any
I'm
of
looking.
them.
Let's see.
Go to feed. Let me see what happens.
The big
No,
one, the
that's my
Irish.
feed. Yeah, go
Okay.
ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
The big one is the Irish genealogy. It's private. It has 98,000 members. Oh, are you a member of that one? It says two friends are a member.
Yeah, I may very well be. So that's it. Let's go back to it. Yeah, I could be. I am a member of, if I do Tipperary, Control F, Tipperay. Let's see what we get here. Actually, I'm getting, this is interesting. Whitesville, New York has an ancestry of heritage of people from Tipperary and Kilkenny who
Huh.
settled in New York. So, I mean, this is kind of interesting. The fact that they have 43 of them. Roots and branches, Tipperary and Kilkenny to Pennsylvania and New York. We have, there's Tipperary's Hills. You grew up in Tipperary Hill. So I'm getting a little bit more than I had planned on. Yeah. So
Oh,
that's good.
I was wrong. I belong to the Cavan Old Irish Photos. So it's not exactly
Okay.
genealogy, but it's really cool to look at all the old pictures.
Yeah. Okay. We'll go from that. So here's my Tipperary ones. I belong to Silver Mines. I think I belong to the Silver Mines DNA project because I have a second great grandmother who has to be from there because her name is Gleason. And I belong to probably the genealogy group or maybe this I mean, there's some odds and ends ones I need to look up here. So if I look for Cavan, we'll try that. We'll look and see what you find. Cavan. And we will go to all that. And yours telling me
It may
yeah,
not
we
be
could
there
also,
because it's technically it's old Irish photos.
okay. Oh,
So,
okay.
so it may
We'll
not
do
be there.
old Irish photos. Let's see
I
what
don't
we
know
can
why somebody recommend. Oh, because I had my ancestor that an old picture and they wanted to see it. So
Okay, they're not seeing it, so it's not showing up as
No.
a, and like I said, she has not updated this. So if we were to look, so Kathy Forja, where's your family from? It's up over, is it Sligo?
Sligo, yeah.
Can't, yeah,
Not
so
all
let's
of,
go look at
I've got several Irish names but two of them are from
from
Sligo.
Sligo. Okay, so we'll go down to Sligo. We have here Sligo Eski Heritage and Genealogy Society, Sligo Archaeology, DNA Match Finder. Here's your genealogy. And then this is their genealogy center. And so each county has a research center. And let's see what happens when this posts come on. So we have a picture there. And they just kind of post things. This was September 11th. An open invitation to the launch of Remembering the Armada and Spanish Armada photo exhibition. So for those of you that remember your English history, in 1588, Spanish Armada came to kind of invade England. Queen Elizabeth's forces defeated them, and they went up and around and over and came down the west side of Ireland, and they didn't do well. And so they're talking about this must have, these must be various things they found from some of the surviving ships that then sunk outside Ireland. So we go from there. Spanish Armada, Ireland, and Grange. And here we have some photography. The edge of Sligo, a reminder of the breathtaking views Ireland holds. That's really interesting. Okay. This one is Jude Mannion, Sligo. Okay. On this morning, 227 years ago, Lieutenant Teeling took out the gunner on Parker's Hill. In doing so, turned the tide at something or other, Hiberno, French Morse tide. Okay, so this is when they were kind of have another revolt, a festival. So it shows you what's going on in the community. So I would tell you, if there's one for the Heritage and Genealogy Center, if nothing else, you can look at the pictures and go, geez, I'd like to go there. I would really like to go there. That is the view from Knocknaria. Okay.
Teresa,
more of it.
if even if it's not labeled
Mhm.
genealogy or
Anything. Yeah,
heritage, if you know the town where they came from,
sure.
look at the Facebook pages. I know for Italy, I found a couple. One is a little tiny town of 800 where Louis' grandma came from.
Mhm.
And they started a Facebook page for all the people that left that little town, and they've got like 20,000 members all over the world. And it's all families that left that little town
Okay.
of
Okay,
Talavecchia in Calabria. And
yeah.
it's a really cool Facebook page with lots of old pictures. And
Well, here's one of my families. They're from Killaloe and Ballina.
yeah,
Killaloo's on one side of the Shannon River. So let's see what happens. That's the local historical society, and they have an album, which I would love to see. I'll be honest. This is back in 2022. I used to buy these, and so I thought, well, I'll play carrot catch up and buy some of the former publications. Well, unfortunately, the tariffs have hit this, and I'm like, do I have to pay a tariff if I buy books from Ireland? And the answer is they are considered educational, so there's no tariffs, but there's all sorts of paperwork. And if they come into America, then they may go through some service, and I may have to pay a fee to them that's bigger than what I was going to pay for the book. So I'm kind of waiting to see if this thing ever calms down. So that's it. Yeah. So these are kind of older ones, but I know they have newer ones here. Our next talk will take place at the Lakeside Hotel, and it's St. Father John's Medicine, whatever that is. The Balinal Father O'Brien Dynasty of Lowell, Massachusetts. So you get pictures. That's cool. If we were to look at Keedy, should we try that? See if we can find Keedy Armagh. Armagh. Let's see if anything shows up. That's somebody's name. Orchard Motors in Keedy Armagh. They have their own. You want a massage in Keedy County, Armagh? We can do that, and furniture restorations. So they don't evidently have a historical situation as we go through there. That's too bad. But yay, while you were there, if you wanted a massage, we'd know where to go. So that's a great idea, Kathy, is to see if your local people have let's try silver mines. I'll do that. Silver Mines Historical Society. Let's see what's going on in the silver mines. That's a Catholic parish. They have 978 followers. Here's a carpet of bluebells. Beautiful pictures. No idea what that picture is. Bloody Sunday, A Bitter Legacy. So, again, temporary Bloody Sunday Memorial Committee for 2020. So then they also talk about the Ormond Historical Society, which is, I think that's the barony as we go through there. We could look up other things, but yeah. So has anybody else got someplace where they know their family is from? We could do Dairy News just out of curiosity. That's not how we spell Dairy News. Try it again. Terrynoosc. The Dandies at Dairy News. And what is the Dandies at Dairy News? Oh, the low-cost supplier of home heating and solid fuels. But it's okay. That's all right. It's in Dairy News Armagh. So they've got their own webpage. Good for them. Anybody else have somebody where your family's from?
How about Ardagh in
Ardagh.
County Limerick?
Oh yeah, I've been there. That is one of the prettiest little, it's Adair is what they call it now, but Adair. And let's just see what we can find. There's beautiful pictures. Fitzgerald's Woodlands. If you want to spend some money, they had we ate dinner at one of the thatched cottages. These are not the Earl of I don't know if he's the Earl of Adair, Earl of somebody, that they have a beautiful castle that's now a very expensive hotel. But he kind of rebuilt the village back in the 1800s, and he put thatched roofs on it. So we ate at a place to eat there. If you have a thatched roof now, it means you have money, because they are very expensive to do as we go through there. So, so there's your Adair pictures. Desmond Castle. Adair Manor is the expensive place to stay. They have falconry and all sorts of things. And so, yeah. So if you want to know where Adair is, there's the Adair Heritage Center. That would be the one thing that you want to follow. Built in the 1820s, Adair's thatched colleges have attractive visits, and then so forth and so on. So you can stop in there and see what's going on. There's the Adair Village and the manor. Isn't Ireland beautiful? Oh, somebody got married there. Looks like things to do when you visit Adair. That's it. It was fun. I always laugh
So
because
you say
yeah.
Ardagh was, they now call it Adair.
Well, I think that's how they pronounce it. It's Adair. I may be wrong. I don't know if I've ever heard it spoken.
Okay, okay.
I've heard it as Adair.
Adair. Okay.
Adair.
That's what
Okay.
that's what I thought of. I always laugh. We had dinner in one of those little restaurants there, and they didn't have a liquor license, or they didn't have a bar, but my husband wanted a beer, so they went next door to the pub and brought him back a beer. They're very, very accommodating here. Okay, so people went there. So yeah, so Facebook is a great, it's a great resource. Like I said, it can be a waste of time. You can go down black holes, and all of a sudden you find yourself at 2 o'clock in the morning going, "Oh, I don't really care. I really don't care." But her list gives you an idea of where to start, and then I would use Kathy's idea of going in on Facebook and doing a search under your place. Kathy, what is the name of the one you were talking about?
It's TERRAVECCHIA 1921.
Well, I bet you just Terravecchia will get you there, but we'll do 1921. Oh, my numbers aren't on there. Okay, let's see what we can find. Okay. Okay, I got quite a few. They're all in
Yeah,
Italian.
that one on top is another group.
Another
that I'm in
group.
too.
Okay. That has 3,000 members. Okay. And I'm not sure which we have.
Well, I think it's, let me look. Maybe it's 1922.
Okay. Okay. I wonder what the number. I'll try 22. There's the local band. I'm not finding it. What if I took the space out? Okay.
No, I think he just changed the name of it, actually.
Was very tacky of him.
Well,
No,
because
I understand. I'm sure the number, the date means something to them, but not
yeah,
necessarily
I'm not
us.
sure what the date
Yeah.
thing is.
Okay. Is it in Italian or in English?
No, well, it's in Italian, but it automatically translates.
It's to I. Okay, that's it. Miss Terravecchia. Okay, so we've got all sorts of things here. I don't know. But yeah, so oh, look at the food and people visiting there. And yeah, kind of cool. Well, there we go. They're having a party. Whatever was going on there, they're having fun. Hooray for life, it says.
And it's not showing up on my
It's-
groups either.
Okay. Somebody's running for office.
Oh,
And another
yeah.
person running for Congress. It's kind of fun. And then we have some people there. See translation. So now I'm getting something set up in progress. So we've got people, those must be all people that are probably running for progress. So that's it. So it's whether you're doing Irish or anybody else. So I found my one German ancestor was from Hanover, which is called Lower Saxony now. And I found their group and they were just wonderful and helped me no end about stuff like that. So yeah, I know we accept the cookies. So that's a great thing to do. The other thing is, now I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. I'm going to first get rid of this one. And then I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. And I'm going to ask.
Teresa, what you were just showing, was that off of Facebook, that National Registry?
No, that we're going to come back to in a minute.
Oh, great.
Okay, we'll come back to that. I'm going to ask the Cables, what do you know about your Irish family? Because maybe that'll take us on a new adventure as we go through some of this stuff. Tell us a little bit about them. What do you know?
It's my wife's father's side, and unfortunately, he has the common name of Flanagan.
Okay,
And
that's
so
all
we
right.
have tried doing that. Looking at what you were looking at, we know a little bit about him, the one that came over, let's say.
Mhm.
And I have a birthplace of Killinchie, County Down, in
Okay.
1830. And so I've
Okay.
been taking notes as to how we might look at that, and we found a Facebook thing there, and I'll look at that as well. But
Do you know if was the family Catholic back in Ireland or Protestant?
Catholic for sure.
Okay, all right. So that makes it easier because as we were talking about with earlier with Audrey, she's got one, and that they talk about the family's Presbyterian, and those Presbyterian records are not online necessarily. Some are, but some aren't. So
Okay.
the cool thing is the Catholic records are available to us
Okay.
to the extent that they survive. You know, some of them, our families, some of them don't start till too late for us. If when you do Catholic records, the more urban, the earlier they start. The more Western you get, the later they start. Okay. But even then, I was with a friend of mine, and we were in County Monaghan, and their parish records don't start until the 1860s. And we were talking to the local historian, and he says, and the only reason they started is because the bishop told them they had to. You know, for some reason, the parish priest just didn't bother to do it. So that was a problem. So let's go in and let's talk about that, because that's a big deal. Okay, so we're going to go back to that. Okay, so just a couple years ago, the National Library, NLI, National Library of Ireland, scanned all of their microfilm and put it online. And it's done by parish, but the problem is it is not indexed. So unless you know where your family's from, it's almost impossible to figure out what you want to do. Now, Ancestry and Find My Past, and I can't remember if My Heritage, but they have indexes, but you have to have a subscription generally to do those. But FamilySearch.org, which is the Salt Lake City group, has indexed them. I think they helped index the ones to begin with that Ancestry has. So let's start with that one. Okay, let's start over there with the indexes. So I'm in Family Search. I have already signed on. You have to have an account with them. The account is free. It's your name. You just put your email in, or a username and a password. You don't have to worry. You're not going to get emails trying to convert you to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You know, that's not going to happen. They just want to know who's using their website as we go through there. So what I do is I come over here and I hit the search button. Okay. And I search records. This is, to me, the easiest way. There's a lot of changes going on, but right now this is it. And when I get to this page that says search historical records, I come down here and it says search by place. So I'm going to type in Ireland. Okay. And I'm going to say Ireland right here. I'm going to click on it. Anytime you put in a place and you get a drop down menu, click on the drop down menu, because that takes you to how they have set up.
That helps a great deal right there.
Yeah. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to come down here. And you notice this has the top 5 of 33 collections. So if I click on see all of them, it shows up. Okay, all the way. They got the census records, and a lot of these things we can already see for free in some other websites. But here is the Irish Catholic Parish Registers. They have 9,722,000, and they just put this last updated was in May of 2025. So we're going to do that. I'll do mine simply because I know I can find somebody, and then we'll try some other ones. But her name was Susan. This is my great-grandfather's sister, McCorm, and it's ACK. Now, the nice thing about Family Search, when you're doing this kind of a search, it looks for alternate spellings. So if it spells, my family can spell it ACK at the end, they can spell it ICK, they can drop the MC off the front, they can drop the K off the back. Susan could be Susie, it could be all sorts of things, okay? And she was born, we're just going to say Tipperary. I'm going to put that in there because I do know that. County Tipperary. And let's see if that works. Okay. And I get here. I get Susan Cormick in Ballina. This is my family. This is what I know. Okay. So if I click on that, and what it tells me, and so I want to make a note of this. I don't get to see the image, but it does tell me who her parents are. That's perfectly all right. And then it was on the 1st of April, 1848. All right. So now I can go back to the National Library, Catholic Parish Registers, and I can go over here and I can enter a name, or I can do by a map. All right. So let's do the map. I like maps. So we'll do the maps. We'll just keep scrolling in, and they're in Tipperary. And little by little, get some names on these maps. And here's Ballina. First time I ever went there, I called it Ballina, and they kind of suggested I repeated to me and said Ballina. It's not Ballina. Okay, so I'm going to click on that. So that's the parish of Ballina, and so forth and so on. Now, they tell me what they have. They have baptisms from 1832 to 1871 and marriages from 32 to 72. So I'm going to say, and they're all on the same microfilm. So I'm going to just click on that. Okay. All right. Now I could do page by page by page, which, look at these first pages are pretty bad from 1832. I can't complain. 1832, that's a long time ago. And these first pages are a little hard. But I could go over here and I can filter this. So I hit the filter. I select the event. I'm looking for a baptism. I'm looking for the year. It was 1848. So we'll go to 1848. And I select my month, and it was April. Okay. There's April. Okay. And then I say apply. And then I want to make that bottom part bigger. So I hit the X over here. So it gives me a little more space. And so she was April 1st is what it said. And I'm just going to make this bigger. I'm going to plus, plus, plus. And here's April. And
Were you clicking on her birthday or her baptism date?
This is baptisms. This is baptisms. Now you notice it's oh, she's the very first one up here. Susan of Andrew Cormick and Bridget Gleason in Bracken. And then the sponsors were Mick Cormick and Mary Fogarty. Now that tells me a whole lot. Obviously, and generally you were baptized within a week or two of birth, sometimes even on the same day. It all depended on what was happening in your life. Sometimes the priest came out to you. Sometimes you took the church, the baby to the parish church. So you never know what's going on here. But you notice our family goes by McCormick, but now let's make it a little bit bigger. Okay. So it's Andrew. I think that's a W. And then Cormick and Biddy or Bertie Gleason. She's a Bridget. Sponsors Mick Cormick. So probably that is maybe Andrew's brother or cousin. And then Mary Fogarty. Now, Mary Fogarty, she was a McCormick before she got married. I have found her family, and two of her children came to Kansas, just like my family came to Kansas. So that's it. But what's the interesting thing here is it says Bracken. All right. The family, you notice the next one is, I think that's supposed to be Mary. I can't be sure. Of Andy Cormick, a different Andy McCormick, and Mary, I don't remember her names. Sullivan, Mary Sullivan is her name. You can see Sullivan. Okay. And they live in the townland of Gortlass O'Brien. And the sponsors, SPS, were Mick Coffey and Eliza, maybe Donahue, maybe, these parish priests weren't real good. The interesting thing is this family, this Andrew Carmike, actually lived in the townland of Gortlass O'Brien. But the very northern part evidently was kind of a local name for it, was Bracken. So out of Andrew's 6 children, 3 of them are shown as being baptized as the family living in Bracken, and the other 3 as being in Gortlass O'Brien. But if I go through I have gone through all of the families, the McCormick families and some other families, and look for anybody that says they're born in, they the family lived in Bracken. They're all within, it's just a very small group, a cluster of houses of about 10 families that are up on the northern end of that townland, which nobody currently, you know, present name, present times knows anything about Bracken. They have that name has just totally fallen out of as a place name has totally been forgotten as we go through there. So that's how this works. You look it up here and then we come back and do it. So let's do some more of these. Okay, I'm gonna start over here and then I'm gonna ask you, let's go back and do a search. And didn't we do that? Okay, so who's got somebody that we think we know something about the Irish? Well, what do we know about Mr. Flanagan? Let's try that one. He was born, what was his first name? Yeah.
His first name was William. His middle initial was B. He was
Okay, we can
born-
put B in there, but he's unlikely. Very rarely do you see a middle initial or a middle name on these. Maybe the girls might, but not so much the other. But Family Search will ignore that. And we
Okay.
know that we think he's born in County Down.
Yes.
Okay. And about
approximately
1830.
1830.
Now that's very early.
Yes.
So we'll see what happens. Oh, okay. I want to
137 was
say,
setback.
now the Irish are notorious for not being real accurate. So I'm going to, over here on the side, I'm going to say 1825 to 1835. We'll give them a
okay,
5
good.
years. And we're going to also say, I only want County Down. So let's
Okay.
see what we get. Okay. I'm going to, and I get no results.
Okay.
Okay. That's very frustrating.
Yes.
But if we were to look at the parishes, if we were to look over here and search the maps, let's take this down a bit. Up in County Down, the question is when do the records start? And we don't know his parents' names, right?
Let me look real quick.
I'd be surprised, but you never
I-
know.
I do have two names. It's another William Flanagan, and
Okay.
his mother's name is Jane Flanagan. That time
Okay,
it was
William and
spelled
Jane.
EGAN.
Okay.
So I'm
And
not
that's the
sure.
nice thing, EGAN. And that's the nice thing is they will look for all those pairs. So
Okay,
if I'm
good.
up in County Down, let's see what we get here. Oh, I went a little too small. Now County Down was, so we start over here. And if we start looking at some of these, if we just do, let's try it again. We'll just do Flanagan
Okay.
and we'll just say County Down. Let's see if I find anything there. Okay.
There we go.
Now these are marriages. I really want a birth. So I want to say birthplace Down, County Down, Ireland. And again, 1825 to 1835. Okay, search. See if we get
You're
anything.
teaching me a great deal about your methodology. I like that.
Yeah, we wonder. Okay, and so here's our parents. Now, parents, listen to me. So I can come down here and I can also say father is William. We'll just see what happens. William, search. Okay. So here we have a John Flanagan, born 1828. And it says parents are William. And let's just look a little more. And then it says Burns. So let's see what they mean by that. And they don't give us mom's. I think that's mother's maiden name is what that
I
is.
think it is
Burns.
too, but yeah, I don't know hers. You're right.
Yeah. But we could make a note of the fact that it is February 3rd, 1828 in the parish of Ballygadget in County Down. But let's see what else we get as we kind of go through this. We have Margaret Flanagan, John Flanagan, and James Flanagan. But none of them show William but they're all Valley Gaelic. That's kind of interesting. And that's interesting is because this information is available because a volunteer indexed it for you. That's fine. But it says 18. Oh, I
28,
just
which
had a
isn't bad.
thought of 1828. I'm making a note of what this is. One of the problems with this, and I don't know how good their indexing is occasionally the priest Latinized the names.
Ah,
And I went through this once before and it took me forever to find it. It was indexed under the name of Guilliamus, Guilliams, which
oh my
is
God.
US, which is the Latin for William. Okay. So that might be something. So, because here's John and here's James. Okay. So that's a marriage. We don't care. And that's a burial. That's very unusual. So let's talk about this a little bit. Let's try searching. We'll do a new search and see if Guilliamus makes a difference. Let's go back. I know. Okay. I want to get back out of this. Okay. So let's try this. Guilliamus. They'll come up with something that's close to that. We said county down. And you notice I'm choosing the county down Ireland rather than county down Northern Ireland. I don't think that makes a whole lot of difference, but we will say 1830, 1830. Okay. And see what we can find. This is not okay. County down. I only want county down. So if I check mark this little
is it.
box, it says I only want county down.
Got it.
Okay. And this one I said 1825 to 1835. Now, the other thing we talk about as I'm doing this is the Irish. Okay, we have tax assessments on the Flanagans, and that's the only thing we pick up as we go through there. The Tithe Allotment books, which is interesting. We talk about the Irish naming traditions, and I don't know if you've ever gone through those or not.
No.
What they tend to do is the firstborn son is named after the paternal grandfather, and the second-born son after the maternal grandfather. So if you got William, we look at what their children's names were.
Ah,
Okay.
okay.
Now, that doesn't always work. Sometimes there's a child that's born and dies in infancy. And they used in this case, they used Michael. Patrick Murphy gets married and his father's name is Michael. So the firstborn child is named Michael, but Michael dies in infancy. And there's really no record here in America of that. We don't have it. Okay. And so then, it dies when he's 2 years old. But in the meantime, they have another child. And so that child's named John. Okay. But then they have another child and they want to have a Michael. So they recycle names. So then all of a sudden Michael becomes the second. As near as you can tell, it's the second born child because you don't know about the firstborn child as that came in and
We've
died.
been seeing that in some of our searches.
Yeah.
And our ears perked up because of the way you were looking at some of those. And we'll go back because I do have an account with Family Search, and so I'll go back over this.
Yeah.
But you gave me the idea too that seeing the father's name, I don't think ever crossed over
Yeah.
to America. So I can look at deaths in about that time.
And there's very few death records in the
Oh,
church.
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
very. The Catholic Church very rarely had death records, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't look for them.
Okay. Okay.
The
other thing that we jumped at was the fact that one of the names that went by was Owen, and there's several
which is
Owens in the closer. Her father was named Owen, and so is her grandfather. So
Yeah.
we start
And
to see that as as a similarity that says, let's look through that. So.
And Owen is actually, sometimes it becomes John.
Okay,
So, you know, you might look for a John as well as an Owen.
that
And John,
adds to
so
the
we
fun.
go from
Okay.
there.
And I'm
Go
sorry
ahead.
to interrupt.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes Eugene as well, Owen?
Eugene, yep,
Yeah,
Eugene.
yeah,
Okay.
Eugene.
Dermot becomes Jeremiah, becomes Jeremiah. There's all sorts of names that get kind of moved around. Bridget becomes Bedelia or Delia. It's a challenge as we go through there.
But yeah, you've given me methodology to focus down.
Yeah.
And I, again, looked at Family Search several times
Yeah,
and created the account, but I get pretty stymied because I was seeing Flanagans from different countries and so forth.
sure.
Now that I know how to burrow
Mhm.
down, it's a lot easier. And then I can see the event and possibly even the marriages to see if some of those connect up. So
Yeah,
that will
as
help
I
a
said,
great deal.
the earlier it is, the harder it
sure.
is.
I'm sure.
1831, if you were in Dublin, might be easier as we
Mhm.
go through there, but we can see what happens. What was I going to do? I was going to do records. Robin, what about your family? That's because we know we've got family for yours. I'm going to go down here and do Ireland. Let's use yours as an example. Can we find the Kilmartins?
Sure. What do you? I know the parish records are all in East Galway.
Okay, so I'm just going
Um,
to do, I'm going to start with just looking up the
and
Kilmartins. Uh,
and
ah,
most of them don't exist, but we have a parish record for a marriage, and it's very early,
what was the first name?
1822.
What's
Kilmartin,
but the first
and oh,
name
sorry, Lawrence
with
Lawrence
a
Kilmartin.
with a W? Well, they'll pick up Lawrence under different
They'll
ones.
pick it up.
Yeah,
It's usually both ways.
and we're going to say
And
Galway, right?
Galway, yeah.
Okay.
And it's a marriage, 1822.
Okay.
And I know that one's there, but most of the children we haven't been able to find any records.
Okay.
There he is, and it's Laurentus because that's
Laurentius in
yes,
1825, marrying
1820.
Catherine Kelly. Okay.
Yes, and that's
Okay.
of course the Latin spelling.
Right. Don't
Yeah,
you
so
love that?
that's
And
it.
so,
Yeah,
okay,
that's
so now
them.
now that we've found them in the index, we'll go back
Mhm.
to the Catholic parish records. We will, we'll just spend a little time. Come here. Oh, I made this too small. Now we've got an issue. Come on, make it bigger. I messed this up. I was playing with it. And now it's kind of like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. Come on. What's going on here? I may have to start over again and clear it. There we go. Okay. Come on. One more time. There we go.
Be less inspirational for people.
So we're going to look for Galway. What's going on here? My it's gone a little haywire. So I tell you what, we're going to start over and look for registers.nl and just start from scratch. Come on. I want to have the opportunity here. Okay. It's Killian, right?
Billion, yes.
Oh, I have messed this up no end. Okay, there's Galway. Now we're doing a little better. I've got to be very cautious on this. And Killian is over in East Galway, right?
Yes, it's up near Roscommon.
There it is. Okay. So here's Killian. So we're going to click on that. And notice they have some, well, we'll see that in a minute. If I click on this. Come on. What is going on here? I can't get into it. It's not letting me open it. Control plus. Try it again. This is the one, if I click on it, it's supposed to take, there we go. All right. These are all way too small. There we go. So now you notice they've got quite a few of them here. So we have, it tells me that there are different versions of the parish name. Some of them look somewhat like Killian, but then we also have Newbridge as we go from there.
Yeah.
It tells me what diocese it's in, and it's in the county of Galway. So we are looking for a 1825 marriage. So here's my marriages from 1804 to 1843 are on this microfilm. So, and then they do have some deaths, which is really unusual. Okay, but we'll go through here and we'll see what we can find. And now I'll use my filter up here. I'll tell them I'm looking for a marriage. And then I'm saying it's an 1825. See, their marriages start in 1804, which is very, very early. Sorry, very early. 1825. And it was in February. Now, for those of you that don't know Catholic canon laws, religious laws, you didn't do marriages and baptisms during Lent, okay? And Lent starts sometimes somewhere in February because it's a moving, Easter's a moving feast, and then ends sometime in March or early April. So what you'll see is you'll see a whole bunch of marriages before Lent starts, and you see a whole bunch of marriages after Lent is over. So it's kind of funny. And they see the same thing with baptisms. Now, if the child is dying or is in poor health or a new baby, they will do an emergency baptism. But otherwise, you waited and you baptized them after Easter. So that was it. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to apply this. Holy moly. Okay, we are going to take this down. We're going to make this bigger. Now, somebody, it looks like, has recopied these. Let's see what we get here. And this is why you're so glad that somebody else indexed them. Lord of Moses.
I can't remember where it is on the page.
Okay, let's look for dates. This is 1824. 1824. This must be 24. And let's just keep going until we hit 25. So I shouldn't argue. This isn't too bad. At least it's
Oops, I just saw a Cather, that's all.
okay.
Oh no, wrong one.
Because I'm not sure. Here's February. Okay. So
Yeah,
February
it'll
10.
be there.
Here is that 5th.
Is it?
We're looking for here's Laurentia, but that's not right.
Oh, down.
Here,
It's
there
just
he is,
down.
right here.
There they are. Yeah, there they are.
Okay. Laurentia Kilmartin and Catha, which I suppose is Catherine.
Catherine Kelly.
And Kelly. Now that Kelly would
Yes.
not look like that. That looks like an M to me, but it's Kelly.
But it's Kelly. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we come over here, and here are the witnesses.
And
Michael Kelly and Johanna Corrigan?
Crean.
And then over here, can you
Tyrone.
tell us what? Is that the town name?
Tyrone. Yes. It's
Okay.
where they, and we suspect that they were actually not married in church because at that time, there were a lot of Catholic churches hadn't been built because, they didn't have churches. So
No.
we think that was, and that's where they lived. They lived in Tyrone. Look, I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to go.
Well, you have to go because you've got an appointment. It's
Yeah,
11
I've
o'clock
got
in the
an
morning. It's
appointment.
11 o'clock. It's noon in Brisbane.
And I'm in the last week of before you go overseas hell, and I've got an appointment that I've got to be at 11:30. But hopefully I'll see you all in Des Moines.
Okay, and I will talk to you before then. We'll be an email.
I'll
Okay.
give you a call in the next day. Bye everybody, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Robin. Okay. So there's our Killians. So who else do we have that we should be looking for somebody? Okay. Do you want to use an example of yours, Jan, up in Armagh,
Um,
the Rogers?
the
No?
Rogers, right?
Okay. Okay. Well,
Look for George.
oops, no, it's not that. Helps if we spell them right. And we'll do Armagh.
There, right.
Now you knew this because there's family lore that said they were from Armagh. Is that
Right.
that needs an R in Armagh to make this work. Okay, County Armagh. And we will search. And we will say we really want a baptismal record. And I put an S on the end of it. Should be just Roger or Rogers.
Rogers.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And then what birth years are we talking about?
1863.
Oh, okay. So we'll do 60 just in case. And the other thing is, remember, is we're looking at baptisms, which are not always the same year as if they're born at the end of
Right.
December, they may not be baptized till January and that kind of
Right.
stuff. Oh, I got an extra one in there. Okay, search. Let's find George. There's George Rogers, April of 64. William Rogers and Mary McCann. Is that your family? No.
Yeah, it's part of my family.
But
Yeah.
it's not the George we're looking for.
No, George would have been the father.
Oh, okay. So
The
we're looking.
child would have been either Catherine or
Well, we can
John.
just do this by just saying I want anybody whose father's name is George. Okay. And we can make that be in 1855. Oopsie daisy.
Fix your spelling.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to do that. No, I will.
Your,
To
your joy.
1870, and we'll get George there. Okay. So we'll look for anybody whose father's name is George Rogers. So we have James, and we have Jane, we have Owen, we have Michael, we have Patrick, we have Michael. Oh, these are all marriages. I wanted births. Birthplace. Okay, we'll do Armagh. County Armagh, and I put the little check mark there and see what we can find. We just get Jane. That's kind of weird.
Mhm.
What am I doing wrong here, folks? Well, out of curiosity, let's see what it says. Seago County, Armagh, that is not your place. Does this marriage birth record, baptismal record exist, Jan?
Yeah, it does.
I wonder what I'm doing wrong then.
It's in Dairy News.
Okay, let's start over again. One more time.
It would
Clear it all.
be
Yeah. So tell me the child's name and that would Bob. Oops, wait a minute here.
okay. It would be John.
Okay, we'll go for John Rogers. I always love this when I say, oh, this is how it works, and then it doesn't work. Rogers. Okay, and we're going to say Armagh. County Armagh. And birth record about 1863. Is that what you said?
Yeah, about, yeah.
Okay, let's find Rogers. There is Patrick, Charles, Sarah, Mary. These are weddings. I want the birth. And this is going to be one of those things where they haven't got it right. And 1866, Armagh. Search. Patrick, Dr. Rogers, Ellen McDonald, Patrick Rogers. It's not showing up. Okay. So I don't know what to tell you, folks. I'm feeling bad about there. So we've got either they haven't indexed it correctly or we've done something wrong here. I mean, we could always go back here and we could now that you know what's going on, we could search it that way. But that's
Right, I
that-
actually have copies.
yeah,
of-
you've got copies, but I was trying
I've
to
got
show it off.
copies of
But
the,
that's what we've got going on there. Okay. So we've been at this for an hour and 45 minutes. So I think it's time to give up. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing. But I think we're ready to go. I hope the Cobles, we've done some information for them. Audrey, let me know and we can talk about your one you're looking for and we'll see what we can find from there.
Presbyterian.
Yeah, we'll go from there. In other words, we'll let you know. I will get a hold of you because when Robin's here, I'd like to have a group that we could get together maybe and welcome her to Iowa and we go from there. So that's it.
Thank you very
Otherwise,
much. This is
okay.
very helpful.
You all take care in the meantime, and we will see you next month. And I'll let you know what else is going on in life. Okay. Talk to you later.
okay,
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Teresa.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
thanks.